We are sitting together in the hotel number 16. So there are three good-looking boys from the States, from England.
Scotland,
sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
You may as well have called him Canadian.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more important to say Scotland because we from Europe, we like you, we love you. The rest we will see, you know. And Austria. And you know, we met each other now 1.5 years ago in Skopje in Macedonia. It was a brilliant conference organized by our friend Taco. He is a brilliant thinker. So we went to the bar. You were playing harmonica. We were thinking about the conference and what we can do together. So let's start with Dave. So if you remember, this day we met for the very first time. And now, tell me something about the journey, our journey we have together, the so-called Fast Forward Forum story.
Well, you know, it's great when you meet people that you've got a lot in common with, and you've got the same passions, and when you've got aligned passions. I mean, the three of us are coming at this from very different angles, and we've come up with this combined passion. And for me, that's been a really interesting thing, because I think having different perspectives on what we're doing has meant that it becomes bigger. It's like having three circles that are not right on top of each other. You know, they're spread out, so it gives you more area. And I think that's been an amazing part of the journey for me, is the fact that we have got to where we are. And there's been so many things along the way that have been really interesting. Like just before the beginning of the summer, we were talking about doing the conference and doing the book. And as a totally unreasonable businessman, Heimo, you were like, yeah, we're going to do it in October. And John and I were like, whoa, how is that even possible?
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I think your ability to just take control of this and make something happen in a short period of time was amazing. And then I think the conference itself, to me, as much as, you know, we knew what was happening, the whole thing was a surprise. Just the way that people interacted with each other. And then on Christmas Eve, a package arrived for me with one of the books, or one of the books, a whole batch of the books.
10 of these bad boys.
Yeah, and that made my Christmas. That was better than the socks that my wife gave me.
Okay. Does she know that? Because you love your wife, you know.
I do love my wife, but those socks, nothing compared to this.
Agreed.
All right, so let's hand over to John.
So, Dave, I think Heimo, he said it when we were dancing through the streets of Skopje. We had some rakia, we had some of your harmonica playing, and we had some great times. But there's something he said to us that kind of just made me think, I'm just going to test this out and see if it works. He was like, you guys are the ones with the wild ideas. I'm Nike. It's like, what do you mean, Heimo? Like, no, I do them. I just do it. The idea, I'm going to do that. And that's exactly what happened. And I actually, if you remember, we were sitting in a hotel just down the road, and they were going to try to do this thing in September. You and I were both too busy traveling because it's a big month for us, but I'm still in shock that A, we pulled it off, and B, that it went so well. And it was because I actually think the different personalities, everyone from the three of us, the three amigos, we brought our own kind of thing to it, and I think we worked well. But I think the thing that I will always take away is the power of the attendees, the thinkers. They weren't like us, the 8 speakers. They were people like Matteo, just provoking, making sure that we were actually having some original thoughts. And doing it in a playful and surprising way. So the whole thing tonally was brilliant, and now we're going to have to try to reinvent this and do it again somehow. How are we going to do that? It was brilliant.
You know, Nike is a good approach because I remember exactly that we were drinking rakia, you were playing harmonica, and then we went to the hotel in Skopje. And then we had the short rest in front of the hotel. It was quite cold there.
It was.
And we were talking about, I would say, what can we do together and what is our future. And exactly in this situation, you have it right, I told you, if there is an idea I believe in 100%, I do it. And what I have learned in life, if you have a plan and if you do a timetable, and the timetable is longer than 1 year, you will never ever do it. So for me, to organize a conference with you in the team, it's easy to do, because what do we need? You need a plan. The plan was try something new, break the conference rules. John, you reinvented the new word for the conference, it's the unconference. A conference is normally a venue with an agenda, with people attending, and then they leave, nothing will happen. Because if this conference takes place every year, it's not a copy of the last year. Our approach is to think the totally opposite. We will do it every time in a different way.
Yeah.
I think that's the rule. The rule is to break the rule. The next thing is with the book. I went to the publisher because you were trying a lot in London to find the right publisher for our conference. And you were suffering because the people, okay, you have a conference, where are the speakers, what are the topics? And it's exactly the same thing, because if you publish a book, there are rules, you know.
Yeah.
We have to have an author, we have to have a topic, we have to have more or less consumers.
We need 8 months from start to finish,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh man.
So you see, that's all about this, you know, because we're humans, you know.
Yeah.
So if you want to have a baby, it takes us 8 to 9 months to have the child. In this case, a conference or a book. We do it quicker because we are fast forward. You know, 23 years ago, I was sitting with friends together in Vienna, and
But you were 6 then. Was it?
Exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we were sitting together, and I came back from San Francisco, from Berkeley, and we were talking about the future of internet. And I have launched my first website in '93. And in 1989 and 1990, I was responsible for the company Siemens, for the Ars Electronica. It was kind of a conference and an award. And in 1996, we published a book, the so-called reading book about the internet. It was about perspectives, background information, and trends. Now the book is 23 years old.
Wow.
And that's the book here. It's lying next to the fast forward files. And I was a little bit flashed because I was looking at the book, and there are some topics in it. The topics are innovation, consumers, how to reinvent things, kind of curiosity. And I think it's really interesting because many of the things in the book happened, and the internet is much bigger than ever thought before. Because it's now in our real life implemented all over. So if we look at our conference and the book now, and if you would judge, because we're sitting in the honesty part, let's talk about it very seriously. If you want to criticize our event and our book, what can we do better, or what have we learned? I will start with you, John, in this case.
Okay. All right. Even though I'm not allowed to get up because I got to stay seated for this interview, my intention is to be dramatic and go to camera and just rip this book to shreds, like literally rip the pages out, because we're not going to do this again. Oh, that's Heather. Sorry, I can't rip that out. But okay, you want me to criticize this? Okay. Like Dave, I was pumped because this arrived on Christmas Eve, and I haven't really thought a lot about hating it in any way. But I would say, if we go back to the purpose of, if we try to reinvent what happened in Saint-Tropez, then I would say some people could claim that they want to go deeper. That we did some broad brush strokes on some really meaty, heavy topics, and that they would rather us cover less but go a little bit deeper. I think that's probably one thing. I think there could be, I think I would love for there to be more provocateurs like Matteo, and for them to actually get writing credits on the chapters. Like, let's say Dave and I and you each wrote a chapter like we did. Well, you know, what if we come into Venice and I want really to be challenged where the chapter becomes not our own, because Dave's chapter still has his name on it. When I think next time the provocation levels are going to have to go higher, and I think that's going to really bring our original vision to life, and it's going to be even more collaborative, believe it or not.
That's a very good approach from your side, because yesterday I had a short conversation with Matteo Atti. He is one of our brilliant thinkers, I would guess. And he told me, listen, the conference was perfect, the people are perfect, the exchange of the thoughts and the idea, brilliant, new ways, you know. And he told me, would he buy the book or not? And that's a big question for him. I think we have more meat in the soup called book. I think it would be better for all of us. And if we have to invite attendees, we have to tell them, you are not allowed to come and to sit. You are only allowed to come if you give input, if you provoke, if you tell us more. And I think then the party will be a big one.
I would love for people not to know that that's Dave as a speaker and that Matteo is a thinker, not a speaker. It almost feels like we have maybe a few more minutes more to plan this, but we could have all really, oh my gosh, is he a speaker, is he a thinker, is she a thinker, is she a CEO of a company? That everyone wants to start things up and create some trouble.
I would say that for the next time we have to, because Matteo Atti called me or asked me yesterday about, do you have a word for consumer? Now we have to implement and reinvent the word for speaker, thinker, and attendee. Perhaps there's a word we could create, and everyone attending or coming to the next place, Venice, we have to find the right word for it. Speaker, thinker, attendee, provocateur, I don't know what the word is.
Challengers, whether we're speakers or whether we're in the audience. I think we tapped into something that maybe wasn't entirely intentional when we did the conference. I think, to me, what was really interesting is that this idea of 20 minutes to speak and then the rest of the hour for people to challenge, I thought was beautiful, but I think we can do it so much better. What I love about it is that the topic and the thought becomes more important than the speaker. The fact that there was no PowerPoint show, there was nothing like that. It was just, you know, I'm putting across an idea, then we're going to discuss it. That, to me, there's some magic in that. I want to see if there's a way that when it comes to the discussion part, that we can get more voices. Because what I love about it is there's no other conference I've been to that taps into the intelligence of the attendees. And I felt that we started to do that. Because there's so much knowledge, so much ability, so much talent in the people who are sitting in the audience. And we started to tap into that. And what I would love to do for the next time is to, I don't know about formalize it, but maybe sort of structure a little bit more, use a little bit more insight and understanding of the people to know who to bring in from the audience at the right time, so that we can have the maximum amount of perspectives and challenge to the idea. So that's what I think is the real power in this, because I've never been to a conference that does that. And I think that we've really tapped into some magic.
Absolutely, I think magic's a good word for it. I'm wondering whether, because I don't want to formalize it too much and it be a high school debate. But at the same time, if there were more people like these provocateurs, challengers like Matteo, and there could be already written up a counterpoint, like, for example, your approach to innovation. What if Matteo actually knew what you were going to say beforehand and he disagreed and he had written it up? I just wonder if there could be two perspectives on a topic that could be more, but not so planned, like it's like, not like a counterpoint and point. A little bit more spontaneous. Or planned spontaneity.
I think the plan isn't the plan. The plan is a frame, you know?
Exactly.
And if you invite people to challenge, it means that the people know that they will be heard, that they will have time in the discussion. And what we have learned, I think, about the conferences taking place today all over the globe, it's a so-called one-way information system, because one person is on the stage and sending some messages, and then the people agree or disagree, or they clap their hands or whatever. And what we do is we give a topic, we give a thought in the middle of us, and then the discussion starts. That's exactly the opposite of it. And what we have to do is to motivate the right people to come with us, to join, to provoke, to discuss, to fight for a topic. And pros and cons, that's exactly what we need today, because we are so aligned, we are so standardized. We're talking about slots, 50 minutes, 20 minutes, this TED Talk format and all that stuff. That's bullshit, because what we need is a true conversation over 3 days. To be connected, because we want to have 35 people for the next time, not being linked to each other, not coming out of the same bubble, not having the same education, not having the same background in culture, language, whatever. So we'll have a good mix. And then if we invite them to provoke, to discuss, that's enough. Because the structure is easy. The structure is the place, the topic, and the time frame we have. And then feel free to provoke, to discuss. And I'm pretty sure that for the next time, the book will look completely different, because then we will have fields, not battlefields, discussing fields, and so the people can come in, can provoke, can put input in it, and then we will have a really good discussion. And I think that's the way we will do it. We will play soccer in a garden in London, because there will no ref be. There are no I would say fans around. Only 5 to 5 people on the pitch, fighting with their heart to win, like John always does.
Except for 2 days ago when I was playing with your son and we got killed.
Okay.
Oops.
Okay, let's go back to our book at conference format. So, if people are watching this video,
Are you watching this video? Are you still watching this video?
Yeah, there are.
Thank you.
You know, my family, 4 people will watch it for sure, so we will have 4 views and all. So, but if I'm watching now the video, what is the message to the people out there to be one of these so-called challenges? What do you think, Dave?
To me, I think it's an incredible opportunity to be part of trying to raise the understanding of topics and trying to delve deep. So the fact that all of us, whether we're speakers, whether we want to call them thinkers or attendees, we're all challengers, and the role of everyone is to make the thought stronger, to develop the thought, to make it into something that's bigger and practical. To me, there's nothing out there that does that. So as an attendee of most conferences, you've just got a higher risk of getting deep vein thrombosis by sitting in a seat all day and listening to facts coming at you. It's not like that at all. It's very much there. It's almost like there isn't a stage. You know, we're a discussion forum, and that is to me, that was what made it so exciting. And if that's what we want to grow and develop, that is the big opportunity.
I think that the conference format we are creating is the completely opposite, like we have today. For instance, for me, the conferences today are like television. They are broadcasting speakers. What we do is exactly what you said with John now, is to invite the people to engage, to be active, to give input, to discuss. And that's exactly what we need nowadays. Not this pocket format things with 15 minutes or whatever, exactly this. And if the people like it, they are invited for sure. What is your point of view?
So, after we wrapped up in Saint-Tropez, we all were like, one of the words that we loved was this word called family. So, and we've actually created this Fast Forward family on a WhatsApp group that we all talk on pretty much every day. And there's familiarity there. What I would like for us to somehow find is find other viewpoints and talk to these people in advance, whether it's we have a separate kind of pre-event in London and one in Vienna, but we know someone's alternate viewpoint. Case in point, the lovely Carla Johnson, she has, we work in the same field of content marketing. She comes from a B2B side. It's been more structured. She's worked for IBM and lots of, I come from working in sports and entertainment. It's more chaotic. So what we tried to do is create two viewpoints in our talk. Do you think we could find these people with opposing points of view in advance and then have other people almost like be on the team? Like I can imagine people being on Carla's team just like they were. Everyone liked Carla more than me.
No, they did. They did like Carla more than John. It's true.
It is true. But not a point I need to land on film. But I just want us to be prepared and always have like a team captain of the opposing viewpoint.
Yeah. I think we will do it like in the park in London. If we play soccer there, we have to pick the team, you know.
Back to football again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just have a little nap
While we talked.
Okay.
like
Sorry for
it.
that, you know, Scotsman, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have to say now 3 times Liverpool will win the league today. Hopefully, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but to come back to our conference, I think we will find the right people to come with us, to talk with us, and to challenge us. I think we will do it. We will have a radar system. We will scout them, and they will come to Venice. But there were only 35 places, and now a lot of people are asking me, I want to come to Venice. And I think it's easier for us to have, let's say, 8 speaking challenges than to have the right decision for the other 35. I think we will have the right people there. So at the end of our short first pilot, Fast Forward Forum magazine, I want to do a short wrap-up. I will start with John, only 5 questions. And please, like Matteo did yesterday, short answers. First question is, Fast Forward Forum is?
I'll take that one. Fast Forward Forum is a gathering of people who their sole intention is to look at what's coming and be like a goldfish, literally look all the way around a topic and come up with something new. Like, I really am looking at it differently now. Thank you, Fast Forward Forum.
Thank you. Second question is, Fast Forward Files, the book, is worth reading. Why?
Is that for me? I'll take that. Okay. Fast Forward Files is worth reading because it is the record of a very unique event with a very diverse cast of characters that sort of spontaneously happened, and we all feel like we've just invented something and we can't really put our finger on what it is exactly, but as a record for something really different. We all have this warm feeling towards it, and now we're going to just literally rip it up and start again and invent something else that makes us feel uncomfortable.
Perfect. So, if we talk about the Fast Forward Forum and Fast Forward Files, what is your main challenge and takeaway, Dave?
I knew you. Hands on the buzzer.
I thought it was 5 questions for him.
I didn't realize
I
it was going here.
I
mixed it up.
Sorry, what was the question again, Heimo? I wasn't listening. I was just admiring his knees. Have you seen his knees?
These are really fresh knees.
Okay, let's look at your knees. Yeah. Okay, I will go ahead with John. John, so what is your true takeaway from the Fast Forward Forum? What is the true challenge?
The challenge for the future of the Fast Forward Forum. The challenge is to not get too comfortable on the relationships we've made and just wanting to repeat the success. I think there's a tendency of brands to repeat a success, and I think our big challenge is to question everything, like and almost like pretend like no, Fast Forward in Saint-Tropez was not a success. And we gotta just wreck it and start again. I think if we take that view, we'll come up with something even better.
All right, perfect. So, if you look at your life, do you have a work-life balance?
I did not have a work-life balance last year. I had 25 speaking trips in 15 countries, and I would say this year, I haven't had any trips this year, and we're almost a month into it, so that's pretty good. I would say no, but a digital detox, one of the things we focused on at Fast Forward Forum, is something that has really helped me. So I've actually left the conference a little bit, not only trying to eat more vegan food, but a little bit healthier perspective on work.
Because, you invested 1% of the last year, the 3 days in Central Bay. Was it work or was it life?
Was my time in Central Bay work or life? In no way did I think that was work, but I think when you love what you do, you don't consider it work. And I felt like the debate and provocation and the friendships, it was all what life should be like. And I think I would love for my clients to feel what we felt there, and to not give me so many crappy briefs.
Once you will be dead, the people will go to your graveyard. What is the sentence they will read there? One sentence, please.
One sentence, okay. John, rest in peace, was there to play. He played hard, and he never gave up. And he sweats a lot.
Yeah, I think that's
No more sweating.
Stop. Cut.
You almost had it perfect there. You just ran over the edge and fell down.
Just felt like the right thing to do.
John was curious, but now he's dead. Okay, thank you so much.
Exactly.
Okay, let's continue with you, Dave. So, first question. Now you know everything what I will ask, so it's really boring. I will shake it a little bit, the questions. So, Fast Forward Forum is
an evolving community of challenging thinkers.
That's great. I take it.
You'll take that one.
Okay.
That's more succinct. Wish I'd gone second. That was so much better.
Okay, Fast Forward Files. The book is worth reading. Why?
Because it's a stake in the ground for what happened this year, and it's going to completely change. I think there's some really good thoughts that are in the book. I think there's some. I mean, it's beautifully written. I think that Kat did an amazing job bringing all this together, and it's very readable. It's very beautiful, but it's the strength of the thoughts that are in there that's where you're going to get the value from. So it's definitely worth reading.
All right. So, if we look at you as a man,
Look at me. I'm a man.
as a man,
That's all I can say.
as a man. So, what is FFF in your life now?
I'm sorry guys, just a second please, I'm hearing all the captions.
That's the sound of my brain working.
Yeah, that was Dave's brain. You need to turn that brain off here.
Sorry.
It's off.
Let me switch it to silent.
It's with this coffee beans,
So what FFF
Yeah.
is to me
Yeah.
as a man,
Yeah.
at the moment it's a community. That's the way that it's living at the moment. In between the events, it's a community, and one of the things that's really surprised me is we've got this WhatsApp group, and it's still really active. There's still lots of stuff happening on it, and it's that to me has become the amazing thing, that it's a community. I would like, as a community, for us to be challenging thinking a little bit more, but still we're a family. And that was the whole thing at the end of the conference. At the moment, it's living as a family, but when it's an event again, it becomes a place to challenge thinking and to develop thought.
That's nice. That's really nice. So, you were talking about innovation and dogs, but I think you are not able. But I think you are not able to talk about this thing, and you're not an expert about that, to be honest, because you have no dog.
I used to work for a veterinary hospital.
It's a very theoretical approach. No, there's no. So what is? We talk about work-life balance nowadays. What is work-life balance for you?
to me, it's a bizarre thing because I don't really separate work and life. I don't have this thing where I go to an office and that's work from 9 to 5. I get up, if I've got lots of work on, I get up at 5 in the morning and in my pyjamas I go and I sit at the kitchen table and I go on with
Just
work.
imagine you're in a
You're
pyjama.
just imagining me in my
Okay,
pyjamas,
what
very
kind?
stylish.
Okay.
Imagine like
Tartan,
tartan,
okay.
silk pyjamas, you know,
Yes.
the sort of buttons down, nothing like that, nothing like that.
So-
With my pipe, and a smoking jacket, with my hand in the pocket.
Sorry for that. Now I have a pick in my head, so
To me, the work-life balance thing, when I used to work for an office, there was always this sort of low level of stress I had working in an office. Actually, quite high level of stress I had as a constant thing working in an office. Now when I work for myself, it doesn't feel as if there's a separation between work and life, and the stress, instead of being this constant level of radiation of stress, now it's spikes, occasional spikes. So stress has gone from being that direction to being that direction. And it's, to me, I handle that far better. And work-life balance for me is a really interesting thing when I talk to people. A lot of people talk to me about how unhappy they are in their jobs. I get this a lot. I don't know why they come to me. They seem to think I'm a therapist or something. And
you are.
I am. Okay, so anyway, so tell me about your mother.
It's like your mother.
So to me, I work-life balance isn't something that's a problem for me, but from talking to lots of people and people talking to me, it's a problem for them.
You know, the question work-life balance is the question for all of us because we have no time to move out of our comfort zone to learn new things. And so if you read these fast-forward files, is it work or is it losing control of your working life? Is it new thoughts? What is it for you to read the book?
Do you think that people, when they're reading business books, do you think that they only read them during office hours? I think people generally read books outside of office hours.
Do people read books? Because
But should we just pulp it right now?
I'm asking this question because Cheers asked me, is this book necessary? Yeah, and then I told him, listen, Cheers, he's the founder from Shazam. I told him, once I heard that readers are leaders, but nowadays, if I ask the people to read something, they have no time for reading.
So it's podcasters or lasters. Or
Exactly.
something like that.
Yeah. I was just saying.
Faster.
Yeah.
It's
Faster and podcaster.
Yeah, exactly. So, the Fast Forward Files book to read is a pleasure for you? Is it a pain for you?
Well, it's a pleasure for me, but to me, everything that I do, because I don't have this separation of work and life, everything that I do is about inspiration. It's about putting things into my head, and then that might manifest itself in the work that I do. But as a habit, as a life habit, it's about putting interesting pieces of information into my head. So for me, it's something that I enjoy doing as part of my life, but then the benefits of that will manifest itself in my work. So I don't see the differentiation. I think it's a very fuzzy line between work and life.
Perfect. Last question. You know this RIP question. So, what is the last sentence we should remember if you are dead?
It's just like, he's gone, you can forget him now. You know, when I'm gone, I hope to have made some kind of dent in the universe. I hope to have left it a slightly better place than I found it. In fact, that's a Tom Waits lyric from, I'm an atheist, but there's a Tom Waits lyric from a song called Jesus Gonna Be Here. And the line is, I want to leave this place better than the way I found it was. And I guess maybe that's what I should just have on my gravestone. And then just underneath in brackets, and hopefully I succeeded.
Perfect. This question is important for me because now I'm 55 years old, and sometimes you question yourself, what is my life about, or what is life about? And if we gather in Saint-Tropez and in Venice, it's all about to make our lives better, our globe better, our world better, and there should be a small impact, you know, because mainly today the people really don't think about the future, because if you remember this little young girl from Scandinavia traveling around the globe and telling us it's too late, and she's really impressing, I have to say, because she tells me more than all the politicians around the globe. So I hope that we three together will have a small impact and the life in the future. Thank you so much for sharing.
Well, thank
you
you.
so much for being a friend, because friendship is staying together for a while, and it's not useless. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jaime. Thank you.